Hello dear students, in the previous class I was discussing about the concept of alpha decay and beta decay, and today I am going to discuss the concept of gamma decay. So before discussing this gamma decay, in the discussion of beta decay you might be got to know about one particle, that is a neutrino as well as antineutrino. Neutrino and antineutrino. I think you might be remembered that during the beta decay process, what happens, the nucleus of a radioactive substance undergoing the spontaneous disintegration with the emission of electron or positron is referred as beta decay. And during the beta decay process, especially electron emission, an antineutrino will be emitted. And remember, in case of positron emission, a neutrino will be emitted. So why? The reason is already known to you. So why this neutrino will be emitted and why this antineutrino will be emitted. So but remember, what is this neutrino? So this is very important. So I told you there will be a emission of particle in the beta decay that we call as neutrino and antineutrino. So what is this neutrino? Remember, neutrino is nothing but the what? A neutral subatomic particle, and which is also referred as one of the fundamental particle, also one of the fundamental subatomic neutral particle, that is called as neutrino. And this neutrino has got a negligible mass or low mass, and generally mass of the neutrino will be 0. And remember, this neutrino will not harmful to the human body, and several neutrinos are coming every day in the water through the sunlight. And remember, this neutrino will finds very application in the water globe communication, as well as it finds very applicative in the detection of nuclear weapons. Is it clear? And remember, every matter is composed of this particle, that is nothing but neutrino, and this neutrino will be emitted. So this neutrino will be emitted during the radioactive decay process. Is it clear? So now we shall switch on to the topic gamma decay. So what is gamma decay? So gamma decay is also a process of, that is a emission of gamma radiation by the spontaneous disintegration of the certain unstable nuclei, or in general. So what do you mean by gamma decay? It is the process in which the excited nucleus makes a transition to the ground state by emitting a photon, a gamma photon of some few million electron volts of energy. So what is gamma decay? So gamma decay is nothing but the what? It is the process in which an excited nucleus of an atom makes a transition to the water ground state. In doing this excitations, during this transition, it emits a gamma photon of some million electron volts of energy. So this is called as what? Gamma decay. And remember, during the gamma decay process, there is no change in atomic number of the nucleus or mass number of the nucleus, and there will be only emission of a gamma photon of energy few million electron volts. Okay, so remember, when the gamma ray is emitted, this gamma ray is emitted in the form of discrete values of energies. Why there is a discrete values of energy? Discrete values of energy means the gamma ray is emitted in the distinctively separated possible energies. So we say that they are consisting of discrete values of energy. When excited nucleus will make a transition to the ground state, in this process it emits a gamma photon of energy few million electron volt. Remember, the gamma photon energy will be having a discrete sets, means it has a distinctly separate values of energies are emitted by the water, the nucleus of an atom, while it is making the transition from excited state to the ground state. Is it clear? So this type of decay is referred as what? Gamma decay. And remember, the gamma radiations which are emitted, which are having the frequency more than that of the X-rays, and these are most powerful than that of the water X-rays of the electromagnetic spectrum. So next, so when you take a radioactive substance, if it when the radioactive substance say when the nucleus of a radioactive substance when the nucleus of a radioactive substance undergoes say alpha decay or beta decay. So when a radioactive substance, the radioactive nucleus of some substance, when it undergoes alpha decay or beta decay, so during this process it emits. So if it undergoes alpha decay or beta decay, you know that in case of alpha decay it emits a positively helium nucleus particle, whereas it emits in case of beta decay it emits electron as well as positron. Fine. Okay. So if you take a radioactive nucleus, suppose if it undergoes alpha decay or beta decay, then whatever the product nucleus will be formed, generally the product nucleus will be referred as they are in the excited state. So when these product nuclei formed in case of alpha decay or beta decay, if they make a transition to the lower energy state or nothing but a ground state, during this process a gamma radiation will be emitted, and this gamma radiation which is emitted is called as a gamma photon. Okay, so this gamma radiation will be emitted, and remember this gamma radiation emitted by the excited nucleus in case of alpha decay or beta decay is having the energy equal to the energy difference between the the final and initial states. So most familiar example for the gamma decay process is cobalt 27 and 60, and this cobalt 2760 is very useful and applicative in case of this treatment of cancer, and this cobalt is found to be a naturally undergoing a gamma decay. So this produces a gamma decay by the cobalt 2760. So now look at this gamma decay process in case of cobalt 60. So when this cobalt, which is well known as in the treatment of cancer, and this cobalt when it is subjected for the beta decay process, then what happens? The cobalt when it is subjected for the beta decay process, it produces the product nuclei as nickel 28 and with mass number 60. So when this cobalt subjected for the beta decay process, then what happens? The nickel 2860 will be the a product nucleus. After the beta decay of cobalt, the product nucleus will be nickel. And remember, this nickel itself finds in the one of the excited state, and transition of the nickel from the excited state to the lower energy state, so there will be an emission of gamma radiation of energy 1.17 million electron volt as well as 1.33 million electron volt. So this type of process is nothing but the gamma decay we call. So after the gamma decay, the next concept is nothing but the the nuclear energy. The next topic is nuclear energy. So what do you mean by nuclear energy? Very simple. Energy released by energy released during the nuclear reactions is referred as nuclear energy. So what do you mean by nuclear energy? The energy released during the nuclear process or nuclear reactions is called as a nuclear energy. And basically where we find this nuclear energy, generally if you go to the concept of binding energy curve, the concept of specific binding energy curve, if you recall, so you know that for a medium mass number, that is a mass number from 30 to 170, so you have that these mass number nuclei or elements in the periodic table are highly stable, and these are having the a binding energy slightly above the the 8 point, or that is 8 million electron volt we can say, or slightly more than this, So when you take the specific binding energy curve, so if you look at the medium mass number from 30 to 170, the binding energy, the specific binding energy will be around 8 million electron volt or more than this value. So for nickel you have the value of specific binding energy, that is 8.8 million electron volt, which is a stable one. Okay. So next, if you take the mass number less than less than 30, they are called as lighter nuclei. And if you take a mass number more than 170, they are called as heavy nuclei. So in case of lighter nuclei and heavy nuclei, there will be a release of nuclear energy takes place when they are subjected for the radioactivity. Okay, so generally what happens, the medium mass nuclei from 30 to 170, they are highly stable because they have a constant value of the specific binding energy, that is 8 million electron volt or slightly more than this. And if you take the water, the mass number less than 30 and more than 170, that is a lighter nuclei and heavier nuclei, generally these nuclei will possess the water a positive Q value. So it means disintegration energy for these elements will be positive, and because of that reason what happens, these nuclei corresponding to less than 30 and more than 170 mass number in the periodic table are generally referred as radioactive elements. Means they undergo easily the radioactive reactions and they produce the nuclear energy. And what are the radioactive reactions? There are two such type of radioactive reactions, and these two reactions will tend to produce the nuclear energy. And what are those two reactions means? We shall see. One is nothing but nuclear fission and another one is nuclear fusion. The first one is nuclear fission and another one is, the second one is nuclear fusion. There are two types of nuclear reactions where we can observe the release of nuclear energy. Okay. So what is nuclear fission? So nuclear fission is the process where a heavy nucleus of an element will be splits up into two lighter medium mass nuclei by the release of some amount of energy. So that is called as nuclear fission. And there will be one nuclear fusion. Later on I will discuss this nuclear fission. So what is nuclear fusion? So nuclear fusion is nothing but it is a process where the release of nuclear energy takes place when two lighter nuclei will combine together, when two lighter nuclei will fuse together and they produce the a lighter mass nuclei. So that type of reaction it is referred as a nuclear fusion. And during nuclear fusion also there will be a liberation of energy takes place. It means disintegration energy will be positive, that is Q value will be positive. Definitely these two reactions are nothing but exorgic reactions. You know what you mean by exorgic reaction as well as the endorgic reactions. So exorgic reactions means a reaction in which liberation of energy takes place, and endorgic reaction means the reaction in which absorption of energy takes place. And mainly the energy released in the process that is called exorgic reaction. And in case of exorgic reaction there will be a natural decay, means there will be a natural spontaneously there will be a disintegration and it undergoing natural decay. So in case of natural decay we find the exorgic reactions, we call them as exorgic reaction. If it is an artificial decay such as positron emission, under that condition we suffer it as endorgic reactions. Q value will be negative. So next, so if you take the nuclear reaction, so if you take so just we have to compare. So the strength of this nuclear energy released in the nuclear fission or nuclear fusion. So if you take a conventional energy sources, conventional energy sources such as petrol, okay, such as petrol or that is a coal or any natural gas. So generally if you take a petrol or natural gas or coal, they will produce the what energy around 10 to the power of 7 joules per kg mass used. Joules per kg mass used. Per kg mass used means they produce the energy around 10 raised to 7 joules per kg mass used in case of conventional energy sources such as petrol, coal or any natural gas or any natural, that is a natural gas you take. But if you take a natural fission of uranium, if you take a natural fission of uranium, that is uranium 92-235, you take a fission of uranium 92-235, then it tends to produce around 10 to the power of 14 joules per kg mass used. Per kg mass used. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಈ ಪೆಟ್ರೋಲು, ಕೋಲು ಮತ್ತು ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ಏನು ಕನ್ವೆನ್ಷನಲ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀರಲ್ಲ, ಈ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಸೋರ್ಸಸನ್ನು ತೊಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಯೂಸ್ ದೋಸ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಸೋರ್ಸಸ್, ದ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ 10 to the power of 7 joule per kg mass used. But if you take a fission of uranium, okay, a radioactive source, so it will produce 10 to the power of 14 joule per kg mass used. So it means when you just compare, the value will be several million times more than that of the water, the chemical reactions of the conventional energy sources. Yes or no? So this is the quite important note here, to use the uranium as one of the fissionable material in case of the nuclear power reactor in order to have a continuous generation of a nuclear power here. Okay, so thereby it is used as the one of the energy source or alternate energy source, nuclear power reactor. Okay, why? Because this will be the energy generation in case of nuclear power reactor. Is it clear? So now we shall study the nuclear fission. So what is the nuclear fission? So this is about the fact and this is the concept here. So next we shall go for nuclear fission. So what is the nuclear fission? I told you, when a nucleus of an atom of heavy element splits into a two lighter medium mass nuclei with the liberation of enormous amount of energy is referred as what? A nuclear fission. So what is nuclear fission? So it is the process, it is the process, it is the process in which nucleus of an a nucleus of an atom of heavy element splits into a two or more. It is the process in which nucleus of an atom of heavy element splits into a two or more products of comparable masses, with the liberation of large amount of energy, is called nuclear fission. Very important for the examination point of view. That is called nuclear fission. So what is nuclear fission? It is the process in which nucleus of an atom of heavy element, okay, so heavy element means more than 170, mass number is more than 170. If you take naturally uranium 92 235, okay, uranium 92 235, it is a heavy nucleus element. And when this heavy nucleus element so splits into a two or more products of comparable masses, okay, with the liberation of a large amount of energy, is referred as a nuclear fission. It is referred as what? Nuclear fission. Remember students here, during the nuclear fission, what happens? A heavy nucleus is going to splits up into a two or more product nucleus. We call them as a fission products anta karitivi ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನು ಏನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ? fission fragments or fission products. These fission products are associated with the masses corresponding to the medium mass number of the periodic table, and hence these fission products are nothing but the what? A stable one. Is it clear? So this is nothing but the nuclear fission reaction. So what is the nuclear fission? It is the process in which a nucleus of heavy element splits into two or more, that is a products of comparable masses, along with the what? Liberation of large amount of energy. Okay, so when it splits as a product of comparable masses nucleus, so when it splits into a product of comparable masses, so comparable masses means comparable masses of some product nuclei, these along with the product nuclei, what happens? There will be a liberation of two or more neutrons will be there. Not only the product nucleus of comparable masses with energy, along with this there will be a release of two or more, that is a neutrons. Okay, so two or more neutrons will be produced and they carried out the further fission chain reaction. Okay, and thereby the release of large amount of energy will be takes place in the case of fission chain reaction. So now we shall look at the one simple example that tells about this nuclear fission. So before that, you take down this definition. See, these are the some examples for the nuclear fission reactions. Okay, so try to go through this one. So I have written here, so examples for the nuclear fission. So what do you mean by nuclear fission? It is a process in which a heavy nucleus of the atom of the heavy element, generally a nucleus of an atom of heavy element, splits into a two or more, that is a comparable masses product nucleus with the liberation of enormous amount of energy, is referred as a nuclear fission. And remember, when a heavy nucleus of an atom undergoes the fission, so it produces the water, the comparable masses product nuclei, and along with the liberation of energy. And I told you that not only energy, so even the some neutrons are emitted. Okay, some neutrons are produced during the each fission. So listen here, here is one example. When you take the uranium 92 235, if you take uranium 92 235, when it is bombarded with a slow neutron or a thermal neutron, a slow neutron means whose energy will be around 0.05 million electron volt, a low energy neutron. So that is called as a slow neutron, or that is nothing but the what? A thermal neutron we call. Okay, so when a uranium 92 235, generally this naturally 92 uranium 235 will not undergo the what? Fission. So it has to be bombarded with what? A neutron which is of slow neutron having the energy 0.05 million electron volt. So when it is bombarded with this uranium, then the uranium becomes this 92-236, and which is an unstable one. It becomes a 92 uranium 236, and this forms an unstable, and it is a radioactive now, and it is readily undergoing the water fission. So when this uranium 92 236 will undergoes the fission, and during its fission, it produces the what, a two product nuclei, that is one is barium and another one is krypton, along with the what, three neutrons, with the liberation of enormous amount of nuclear energy. So in this nuclear reaction, the Q value will be positive, and reaction is nothing but endoergic reaction. See, energy is liberated. See, for one single fission, there will be an ejection of three neutrons along with enormous amount of energy. So if there are such a frequent, there are some large number of fissions of the atoms of uranium means, so therefore on an average a large number of energy will be released. For single fission, there will be a release of three neutrons in this case when you take a uranium, so unstable uranium. So therefore this unstable uranium will be formed when uranium 92-235 is bombarded with the neutron, that is a slow that is nothing but the what, a thermal neutron, or nothing but the what, the thermal neutron. So that is nothing but the what, a thermal neutron. It is nothing but the what, a slow neutron we call. So when it is bombarded with a slow neutron, it becomes an unstable, and this unstable will readily undergo the nuclear fission, and by producing the fission fragments or fission products, barium and krypton, during the one single fission, three neutrons will be produced. In some of the what cases, the two neutron will be produced, but in general 2 to 3 neutrons will be produced in the nuclear fission reaction. So these along with the liberation of the neutrons, there will be a liberation of enormous amount of energy. So this is a one case here. So another one example for the nuclear fission is when uranium 92-235 bombarded with the cold neutron, that is thermal neutron, that is a slow neutron. So this will produces an unstable element 92 uranium 236. So instability is indicated with this mark. So when it undergoes, the other products are also formed, that is xenon and strontium, liberation of two neutrons with energy. So this is another one example for the what, a fission chain reaction here. Okay, so another one example here for the fission, and remember, so this is uranium 92. Okay, yes. So here the first nuclear fission reaction can be diagrammatically represented like this. Say diagrammatically, when a neutron bombarded with the uranium 92-235, then it becomes a 92 uranium 236, which is an radioactive one, which is an unstable one, which undergo readily nuclear fission by producing the fission fragments, barium as well as krypton. So along with the liberation of three neutrons along with energy. Yes or no? So diagrammatically, the fission process I had drawn here, just you can go through this one. Okay. So remember here in the first reaction, so in the first fission reaction, so here it is neutron, uranium 235 nucleus, and this is an uranium 236 nucleus, an unstable one, and this is the product nuclei, these two are, and these three are nothing but the neutrons along with the energy. So if you take the first example, in the first example, what happens, there will be a mass defect of 0. So if you take the first example, what I have written here, so in this one, there will be a mass defect. So what is mass defect, you know, 0.223 million, the atomic mass unit. Okay, so in the first reaction, we observe that there is a mass defect. So what is this mass defect? Because of this mass defect only, that nuclear mass is get converted into energy. Energy is emitted. Why? Because there is a conversion of nuclear mass into energy. Energy is liberated because of the what? Decrease in nuclear mass. Okay, there will be a decrease in total mass of the nucleus, so that we call as mass defect. So what is mass defect? It is the difference between the So sum of the masses of the constituent nucleons to the total mass of the nucleus. So in this reaction there is a mass defect of 0.223 U, and 223 U means atomic mass unit. If you calculate energy dealt with this much atomic mass unit, that is 0.223 into 931, so you will get around 27 million electron volt. See, this much amount of energy is released during one single fission. So like this, the large amount of energy is released during the fission reaction. And remember, so these neutrons which are produced in the fission, the neutrons which are produced in the fission, that is 3 neutron, sometime there will be a 2 neutrons will be produced. Okay, so in general the 2 to 3 neutrons will be produced during the nuclear fission reaction. And remember, these neutrons, okay, will carry out the further fission reaction to produce the more and more number of neutrons. Okay, for single fission there will be a 3 or 2 neutrons will be produced, and these neutrons will tend to produce the water fission to have the water more and more number of neutrons. So thereby what happens, the number of neutrons will be increases rapidly. As a number of neutrons increased rapidly, the nuclear fission will be takes place continuously, and thereby the frequency of fission will be increases. As a frequency of fission increases, the neutrons number is gone increases, and the reaction become self-sustaining. And the reaction become what? Self-sustaining. So self-sustaining means self-propagating. So self-sustaining or self-propagating, and such a type of reactions are called as chain reactions. So sustained reactions or self-sustained reaction or self-propagating reactions are called as nuclear chain reactions. Okay, try to understand this. So what do you mean by the self-sustaining or self-propagating means? So during the nuclear fission, 2 to 3 neutrons are produced, and these neutrons will cause the further more fissions in the water, the nuclei of a radioactive sample, to release the more number of neutron. So like this, the number of neutrons in the water, the reaction will be gone increases because of increase in frequency of fission. So by this what happens, the reaction will be water self-sustaining, or reaction will itself propagating, okay, to have a increase in neutron number. So this leads to what? There will be a chain reaction. So this is referred as what? A chain reaction. So what is chain reaction? A nuclear reaction in which the more number of neutrons will be produced due to the frequent fission of the unstable element. So such reactions are self-propagating or self-sustaining, that simply referred as chain reaction. So we can't control the number of neutrons here. Is it possible or not? Yes, there will be 2 types of chain reaction. One is controlled chain reaction, another one is uncontrolled chain reaction. Very simple example for uncontrolled chain reaction is atom bomb. So you know that such a violent explosion will be possible within a short interval of time with the help of atom bomb. Why? Because of this uncontrolled chain reaction. Means neutron number is multiplied, and frequency of fission will be so random at a very short interval of time. It leads to the liberation of a very total average energy, and this leads to the that is a very violent explosions. Is it right? So because of that reason, so here listen, so what happens in nuclear fission? So in a nuclear fission, along with fission products, ಇದನ್ನು ನಾವು fission product ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಅಥವಾ product nuclei ಅಂತಲೂ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. So during the one single fission or each fission, there are liberation of 3 to 2 neutrons. These 2 to 3 neutrons will cause further more fissions to liberate the water neutrons. Thereby the neutrons will be increases rapidly due to the increase in frequency of fission. So such type of reactions are becoming self-sustaining or self-propagating. So this self-propagating is referred as what? A chain reaction. So there are two types of chain reaction, namely that is controlled chain reaction and uncontrolled chain reaction. So there are two types of chain reactions. Chain reaction. So one is controlled and another one is controlled chain reaction and another one is uncontrolled chain reaction. One is controlled chain reaction, another one is uncontrolled chain reaction. Okay. So what do you mean by controlled chain reaction? Remember, in the controlled chain reaction, the growth of neutrons will carried up to the certain extent, thereby the number of neutrons in the reaction kept constant. There is no furthermore increase of neutrons. So such reactions are called as controlled chain reaction. So what is controlled chain reaction means? So whenever the unstable element undergoing the fission by producing the neutrons, the number of neutrons will be produced up to the certain extent. So it means the number of fissions can be carried up to the certain extent to produce the certain level of neutrons, and after that the number of neutrons in the fission made constant. So such reaction is called as what? Controlled chain reaction. So what actually the controlled chain reaction will be used in the nuclear power reactor as an alternate source of energy for the generation of electricity. Okay, so in that the number of neutrons are kept constant. So that is called as controlled chain reaction. So what is uncontrolled chain reaction? Uncontrolled chain reaction is the one in which the number of neutrons produced in the fission cannot be fixed or cannot be constant. So they are gone multiplying. So as they are gone multiplying means it leads to because of frequent fissions. So because of frequent fissions, the number of neutrons will be get multiplied. So because of this reason, what happens? The energy, a large amount of energy is liberated due to the multiple, that is a fissions. So because of this reason, what happens? The number of neutrons will be produced will be very rapidly, causes very rapid, that is a liberation of energy within a short interval of time. So it causes the what? A very violent explosion. So this is the methodology, or uncontrolled chain reaction is the process taking place in case of atom bombs. Okay, so this is about the controlled chain reaction and uncontrolled chain reaction. And after this concept, the next concept what we have is that is concept of the critical size. Okay, fine. So what is that critical size? Remember, in order to have a chain reaction, nuclear chain reaction, so in order to have a nuclear chain reaction, here fissionable material should have some minimum size. So that size of fissionable material is referred as critical size. So it is referred as critical size. So what is critical size? The minimum size that the fissionable material should have in order to have this chain reaction or nuclear chain reaction or sustaining chain reaction. So that size we call as critical size. So then we have critical mass. So what is critical mass? The mass of the fissionable nuclei corresponding to the critical size is called critical mass. Okay, so what is critical size? Remember, to have a nuclear reaction, nuclear fission chain reaction, the size of the fissionable material should be what? Some particular value, some minimum value. So that minimum value is nothing but critical size. And what is critical mass? So critical mass is nothing but the what? The mass of a fissionable material, minimum mass of a fissionable material, okay, corresponding to the critical size is called as a critical mass. Okay, so if you have to take a critical mass of the fissionable material, means minimum mass of a fissionable material will be required, so that minimum mass is critical mass. Below the critical mass, fissionable material if you take, or fissionable nucleus if you take, the reaction cannot becomes the what? A continuous chain reaction. That reaction will be terminates or it stops. So in order to have a reaction continuous nuclear chain, so at the time we have to use the what? The fissionable material which is of more than the critical mass, okay, or critical mass fissionable material. Is it clear? So therefore, so this is about the what? The critical size of the fissionable material and critical mass. So next there is a one factor here. So that factor will tell about the what? Probability of the nuclear reaction. The probability of nuclear reactions, probability of nuclear reaction, the probability of the nuclear reactions is given by a factor called multiplication factor or reproduction factor. Multiplication factor, the probability of nuclear reactions or the probability of nuclear chain reaction is determined by the factor. The probability of nuclear chain reaction, the probability of nuclear chain reaction is given or determined, both are one and the same, is determined, reaction is determined by a factor called multiplication factor or reproduction factor. Multiplication factor or reproduction factor, that is K. So what is this reproduction factor? The reproduction factor is nothing but the what? It tells about the probability of nuclear chain reaction. So probability of nuclear chain reaction means the rate of neutrons produced in the reactions. Okay, so it tells about the probability of nuclear chain reactions, and even it measures the growth of rate of neutrons. It measures growth of rate of neutrons in the reaction. So what is this? The probability of nuclear chain reaction is determined by one factor. That factor is called multiplication factor or reproduction factor K. Remember, this factor is the measure of growth of rate of neutrons in the reaction. So it gives you about the idea of rate of growth of neutrons, means with respect to the time, the growth of neutrons or multiplication of the neutrons can be determined by the factor called reproduction factor or multiplication factor. It is defined as number of neutrons in the ratio of number of neutrons in one generation, number of neutrons in one generation, the number of neutrons in one generation to the number of neutrons in preceding generation. Number of neutrons in any one generation divided by in any one generation divided by number of neutrons in preceding generations. So this ratio is referred as a reproduction factor, or that is nothing but the what? The multiplication factor. So what is this factor tells? This factor tells about the rate of growth of neutrons in the reaction, and this is a number of neutrons in any one generation, means in any one fission, to the number of neutrons in the preceding generations. So preceding generation, it is called as a nuclear reproduction factor or nuclear chain reproduction factor or simply multiplication factor. Say if this value of multiplication factor is equal to 1, what we say reaction is? Say if this value of K is 1, then the chain reaction is critical, we say. Chain reaction is critical. Chain reaction is critical and sustained. Sustained, just sustained means it began antartha. So it is just sustained means it is proceeding, is critical and just sustained. Just sustained. So if if this multiplication factor is equal to 1, when K becomes 1, if number of neutrons in any one generation divided by number of neutrons in the preceding generation should become same, then K equal to 1, then the chain reaction is critical, we say, and just sustained, we say. Anta reaction ಗೆ ನಾವೇನಂತೀವಿ critical chain reaction and it is just sustained anta, means just propagating. Say if the factor is less than 1, if it is factor is less than 1, the chain reaction, obviously fission chain reaction only. So because we are defining for the chain reaction antanadru tagolri athwa fission chain reaction, the fission chain reaction is critical. Say if K is less than 1, the fission chain reaction is subcritical. We call this as a subcritical and terminating. So subcritical and terminating we call. Subcritical and the rate of reaction decreases. And rate of reaction decreases. Rate of reaction decreases. Say if this factor is greater than 1, say if this factor is greater than 1, so generally the fission chain reaction is supercritical and exponentially increasing. Supercritical and exponentially increasing means rate of reaction is increasing exponentially if K is more than 1. If the multiplication factor or this reproduction factor is more than 1, the reaction is exponentially increasing. This will take place in case of uncontrolled chain reaction. Okay, so this is about the topic, the gamma decay and nuclear energy and nuclear fission, along with example and the controlled chain reaction or nuclear chain reaction, controlled chain reaction, uncontrolled chain reaction, and this critical size, critical mass, and this multiplication factor or this reproduction factor, and the next one, that is nothing but fissile material or fissionable. So what are fissionable? So fissionable means the nuclei which will undergo readily the fission, they are called as fissionable materials. The materials which will undergo, or generally materials anadakinta, the nuclei, okay, the nuclei which undergoes the what fission, nuclear fission, are said to be fissile materials or fissile substances, or fissionable we call. So what are fissionable substances? The nuclei of a substances which undergo the nuclear fission are called as fissionable nucleus or fissionable substance. Okay, generally uranium 92-236 is nothing but the what, the undergoing the what, a fission, nuclear fission. Okay, so there are some artificial fissionable materials are also there. Okay, so I hope that you all understood that. So uranium 92-235 is a naturally fissionable material. Uranium 92-235 naturally fissionable one, and artificial one is 92U233. Okay, the material readily undergo fissionable, material which readily undergo fissionable, that is uranium 92-235. It undergoes the naturally fission chain reaction. So this is called as fissionable material, natural one it is. And uranium 92-233, it is artificial one. Okay, artificial fissionable material. Okay, so this is about the today's class. In the next class I will discuss about the nuclear fusion. This is fission, means splitting. Fusion means the combining of two lighter nuclei and becoming the what, some heavy nuclei of some other element. So that we shall discuss in the what, next class. So today is this much sufficient. In the next class we shall discuss about the what, the nuclear fusion and energy generation in the stars. Okay, thank you.